Wait, you see Mr. Emmerling's going to knock your socks off.
Could I have your attention, please? I have a very important announcement to make, and that is for 2 nights in a row, I went to be the chauffeur for Mr. Kermit Ambrose. And for 2 nights in a row, oh, God bless him, he's 100 going on 101. He'll be 101 in January. Knock on the door, his phones don't work. He's a man living with phones that do not work. Knock on the door last night, long time, and then, yeah, coming, yeah. Waited 5 minutes, the door opened. Now, I was ready to bring him over to the hospitality event last night, and fully expected him to see him there in his slacks and his jacket and maybe a neatly pressed shirt, ready to come meet with all of us. Door opens, bathrobe, bare feet, 3-day growth, looking at me. Who are you again? And God bless him. God bless. So I sat for half an hour last night and carefully told him I would come back tonight at 5:30. And he told me he had a track meet this morning, so I thought, well, great, he'll get up, he'll shave, be ready. So I went over tonight, and same thing. I'm coming. I started to get a funny feeling. I was hearing those same words again. The door opened, in his bathroom, bare feet, unshaven. Coach, you didn't go to the track meet today? Oh, is that Oakland today? Hey, that's what you told me. Who won? I really don't know. And so I sat again with him for half an hour. But he is very sorry that he's not with us, and I said, well, you have to give me some words to pass along to this group. And so he's 100, almost 101, but he did not hesitate. He had the words. So he had 2 sets of words. He said, of all the sad words of tongue or pen, the saddest are these, it might have been. That's great, Kermit. And then he said, and you gotta have PMA. PMA, not PMS. You gotta have PMA. Oh, Coach, what's PMA? You gotta have positive mental attitude. That's great. So I said, you have to sign it. So his signature is on the bottom.
There you go.
And I want to give you just a little brief background, and then I want to get into what I'd like to talk about tonight. I consider myself a specialist in branding. I've spent a career in branding, and I started, I left Birmingham and went to Michigan. I did 2 years of architecture, then I did business school, on to the Army for a short stint, and then out to San Francisco, where I started my career with Young and Rubicam Advertising, one of the very big ad agencies. And I spent 4 years in San Francisco, moved to the New York office of Young and Rubicam for the last part of the 60s. All in the creative department. I was a copywriter. I knew so many people. I could cast them. If you watch the show Mad Men, I could cast that show in my mind. I know all of those people who could slot into those roles. And I went on from Y&R to a medium-sized agency. I guess what's called a creative director. That's what Don Draper is in that show. And then I started my own agency in 1976 and ran it until 2000. Well, during all that time, I shepherded brands, I launched brands, I invented brands, I pushed them forward, I presided over the demise of some brands. I know a lot about brands, outliers. And he talks about the concept of you're not really good at something until you have spent 10,000 hours doing it. And I spent 10,000 hours on branding. Those are my credentials. Now, a little story, and this is what leads up to the theme of my presentation tonight. I've lived in New York since 1965, more than half my life, and people in New York don't tend to say, "Where'd you go to high school?" They don't do that. But every once in a while, particularly since I was in the advertising business, I would meet somebody who had worked at McCann Erickson or Young and Rubicam or J. Wilbur Thompson and had spent some time in the Detroit office. And so I'd say, "Well, where did you live?" And the person might say, "Birmingham." I said, "Huh, you know, I didn't live in Birmingham, I was in Franklin, but I went to high school in Birmingham." And inevitably, he would say, "Oh, Seaholm." That was a dagger to the heart. Dagger to the heart. Someone who believes in branding. My brand was Birmingham. Now, I'm going to give you a little background. I did a little research, and I think you may find this interesting. Birmingham, Michigan. Where did the name come from? It came from, of course, Birmingham, England. Now, Birmingham, England is the largest British city outside of London, population of about 1 million. The earliest evidence of humans in today's Birmingham, England was 10,400 years ago. They've discovered artifacts, human artifacts, in downtown Birmingham, England, in a dig. So it goes back a while. In 1086, when William the Conqueror came over, became the King of England, he decided he'd like to know what he now owned. And he established something, or he put something together that was called the Domesday Book of 1086. And it introduced the Norman spelling of Birmingham, which was B-E-R-M-I-N-G-E-H-A-M. And in this book, written in 1086, Birmingham was described as a small village worth 20 shillings. 1166, the holder of the manor of Birmingham, Peter de Birmingham, was granted a royal charter to hold a market in this castle, which in time became known as the Bull Ring, transforming Birmingham from a village to a market town. During the Middle Ages, the city's name in the local dialect was Brummagem. Brummagem. And if you lived there in the Middle Ages, if you were a resident of Brummagem, you were called a Brummie. Now think of the opportunity we missed. Had we known this, when we were there, back in 1953, 54, 55, 56, we could have been Brummies. Opportunity lost. So, there is a lot you can find out on the internet about Birmingham, England. How about Ernest W. Seaholm? There's basically one entry. In 1951, he was Board of Education President in Birmingham. There are many more entries, but they are using the name of the school and talking about graduates or class of such and such a Seaholm. But this is not a particularly distinguished brand, Seaholm, versus the brand of Birmingham, which is my point. Now, I'm building up to something. Hey, I'm an advertising guy. That's what we do. Now, I just want to schematically lay out the building that went up in 1951. That was Birmingham High School. You may remember, you can tell why I didn't do so well in the architectural school. I think what we really need are a couple of Brummies. So, there we have our Brummies. Birmingham High School, the building. Now, I've written a piece of doggerel. Now, doggerel, if you look it up, as you know, doggerel is loose, ugly, unstructured verse having no literary value. 56 was a time, oh yes, it is said, when values were true. You believed what you read. A school was a school. It was named for its town, not named for officials of such little renown. Birmingham, it's a proud name. Comes from England, jolly old. Seahome? What is that? 2 syllables. Weak, not bold. As we all remember, with our tears running wet, we revered the school's brand, a hot brand, like Corvette. That's a 1956 car. Pretty good.
My brother had one.
Our brand logo, of course, was the maple leaf proud. Runner-up on the flagpole.
There you go.
Runner-up on the flagpole. Hear our voices shout loud. Well, I'm going to run down the flagpole. Put it up here.
Drew, get
You want some? You want some?
You get to be Vanna White. Here comes Vanna.
It's down at the bottom. Right in there. Okay, Vanna. Yeah.
There you go. Good girl.
Our brand, it struck fear on the league fields and tracks. Lesser brands, Ferndale, Royal Oak, even private label brands like Cranbrook, we broke all their backs. We had chick brands, pretty hot. How about Schlachter, Ream, and Harmon, along with many other hotties? They set standards for hip, cool, and charming. Teachers, too, were cool brands, taught us stuff we learned cold. Here now just a few names for whom the bell, it has tolled. Batnose, Clark, Nichols, Price, all the best. Ulrich, Darling, and Hubbard, in peace, may they rest. But tonight, make a little change here. But tonight we were almost honored. Yes, honored we are to almost have with us Kermit Ambrose. At 100, going on 101, still a star. We'll make a little video here. And so, in conclusion, 56ers, let's agree. We shall never be known by that wimpy brand, Seahome. The name sounds like a groan. Forsake it now and forever. Be gone, Seahome, and goodbye. Be proud you're a Brummie. You went to Birmingham. We were doing a little video of this, and I like to put things up on YouTube. So with your permission, I'm just going to walk around so I see some faces, so we can put this up on YouTube, and you can, send it to your friends. And there we go. Okay, make a comment if you want to, Brummie. Okay, let's go.
Let's go Brummies.
All right, go Brummies. Okay. All right, moving on around. Here we go.
Well done, John.
Oh, you're one of those hotties, yeah.
Our next dog is Brummie.
Yeah, okay.
A Brummie. A
Brummie. Okay, all right.
Good job, John.
Okay, good job, Roger. Okay.
My buddy.
Hey,
The artist.
good man. Okay.
It's a quaddle thou hast blessed us.
There we go. Okay.
Way to
All
go,
right.
John.
Smile for you too.
All right, very
Smile
good.
for you too.
That was fun.
Okay.
Brummies?
All right.
Brummies.
To the Brummies all. The Brummies all.